showtime, baby.
Showtime. Showtime. Showtime.
We back at it, baby. Get this music together so we get cracking. There we go. Welcome to Kush Equilibrium. I am your always smoking host. Oops, great. Make sure they ain't too loud. You know, I like my background music. I don't be wanting to blare in y'all ear. But I appreciate y'all pulling up for another smoke break while we talk about this hip hop thing. See it at the bottom of the screen. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff that happens to be for the free ski. Help me take care of them YouTube police. It's gonna be a cool little show, quick show, straight to the point. It'll be the quickie of YouTube, the quickie of YouTube. But let's get cracking. But the idea behind this episode here is to, like, I've seen the conversations right now. I don't know who's your GOAT. OVO King, J. Cole, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar. Okay, those are options. I just want to present somebody that I feel is just better. Proper representation of hip hop, what an artist should really be. If you're one of the ones that out there picking OVO King, you're drastically wrong. I mean, all the answers are wrong, kind of, sort of, but you know, that one's just like drastically wrong. But let's get to it. Hold y'all up. Let me get straight to it. This right here is my GOAT. Allow me to present to you my GOAT. Now, I've sat around, I've listened to everybody arguing why this person's a GOAT, and that person's a GOAT, and you picked the right GOAT. GOAT I pick is wrong. Let me show you why my GOAT is the right pick. Where I get this from? 73 till infinity. Shout out to 73 till infinity. DJ Quick creates West Coast magic on a Moog keyboard. Well, I got some examples. We're gonna start here. Let's get to it. Take the floor, GOAT.
I never do this for camera. You are lucky. Hold up. Limited edition. Voyager. Synthesizer. Indoor.
You see that? That's old technology. throwback technology. The clear indicator, you see them throwback knives. Forget the knives. You see that there's wood paneling on his instrumentation. If your goat don't know what one of these is, if your goat can't use one of these, you should probably pick another goat. And this is just the start. This is just the start.
First by Roger Moog himself. Holla. He signed it before he passed away. This is 1 of 500, first sign. Bob Moog, Robert Moog. That's how, look, I'm cross-collateralizing Roger Lynn and Bob Moog. It recreates itself because it's got an XY pattern, sensitive, velocity, touch sensitive filter control. Yeah, it's like instead of like grabbing a knob, you can draw XY patterns and do music with XY patterns, like drawing little, lowercase y's or it was the right piece of equipment for that moment. It was, Roger Moog getting his autonomy back.
I hear you back there humming.
Because he signed away. He didn't know what he had.
I listen to y'all
so
arguing about
who
to
for,
go.
$10
I sat still.
The 60s.
I shut up until you finished what you had to say.
This was
listen
him
to my goat.
getting his brand back, where he could use his own
Soak
name.
up some game.
So he went
Unless you
and
just willing
did,
to accept right
and
now
this is
that
what
you
any
picked a
technician
crappy
should
goat.
do. He relied on what worked for him in the past. And he built another keyboard. Like, he didn't sell out. He didn't make it flimsy. Like, I can really, I can die. Bam! You can.
That's real equipment.
And it still
Built
works.
to be
at
really
showtime.
used. It's built to last.
Takes a beating and wants to keep working. And still plays like a violin. It's the craziest thing ever.
That's not all I got for you. That's not all I got for you. Shout out to 73 till infinity. Now we get into the meat and potatoes. That was the appetizer. Let me get you to these meat and potatoes.
So one thing I like to do, man, is, I grew up listening to your music.
Shout out to Trevor Lawrence
I've
Jr.
grown listening to your music and before I knew you. But, other than we all know you're from Compton, I want to know about that journey before and leading up to making music. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that happen? Where did you get the bug from when you started, first, starting to venture down this road, man?
Man, I don't know, it's just growing up, like listening to music, watching Soul Train.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Soul Train was my inspiration for everything. From the time I was 3, 4, 5 years old, seeing people dance to this music and seeing my people.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was inspirational. Listening to Curtis Mayfield, at a young age, it put a battery in my back.
Mm-hmm.
If your goat can't reference building blocks of music, forget hip hop for a second, building blocks of Black music. Yeah, Black music, building blocks. Some of y'all goats don't even have frame of reference of who the fuck Curtis Mayfield is. Ain't heard of him at all. And that's why y'all goats are lost. They don't know building blocks of sound good, properly made Black music. You gotta know Black music to make hip hop. Yes, I said it. You gotta know Black music to make hip hop. Let's get to it.
Ultimately, I was playing records as a kid. Like, I think the first time I even played a record was like 1 or 2 years old, and I didn't scratch the record. I just understood naturally the mechanics of a turntable.
I tried to scratch the records
and how
one time. So that record
how they made my family members
feel. Ass whoops.
So that's where it came from. When I just play the right records and have everybody have a good time.
Mm-hmm. So that morphed into you creating them, and
finding drum machines here and there along the way. When I was like 10, I got a hold to a Boss. I think it was a 606. And I was playing around with the 606 and turntables and scratching and making programming beats. That was my teenage years. Um, going to school, Davis Junior High School, Dickinson. And having people that that like the same music I like. Watching ultimately the Run DMC era, and watch how that changed like our style of dress. And what I mean, it was all a school of fish back then. Like it seemed like everybody from every part of America, every black person moved at the same in the same rhythm.
Mm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. There was no East
Um,
Coast or West Coast thing at that point, really. Not
oh
really.
no, no.
Right.
We was on. I was on what they was on. I'll take two of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but basically, and listening to sounds, being real proud of local groups.
Right.
You know, um, the obviously NWA, but even before that, like um the dudes who selling jailbait
Right.
and Toddy T
Toddy T, Battle Ram.
and
Yeah.
Fade, listening to the local, because they just felt so touchable,
Right.
and when they would say Compton, we all, you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, you know,
Yeah,
but yeah,
man.
You hear that? You hear that? This helps you understand the difference between somebody who got into music out of love and somebody that got into music out of a fucking hustle. And that's one of the many problems we have right now. It's just a hustle to so many. It's not even an art form to some of them. It's not even an art form. This is my GOAT's beginning. This is how he got started. Let's get to it.
basically just staying in the house,
Born,
because at
raised
that point,
in the culture.
the streets were unnecessarily dangerous.
Right.
Anybody could get it at that point. So music kept me in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I
And
mean,
people gravitated toward me because I would build my own speakers, make my with the, I guess what the Jamaicans call sound bombing. I would make my own speakers and play records that I bought that I liked, and people started coming to ask me to make them a cassette of those records, and I would make like $10. You know what I mean?
wow.
Make a mixtape. I got to recording back when we had VU meters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See,
I
this is the
was
crazy.
stuff
riding the
that's
VU
missing in
meters.
some of these so-called GOATs history. There needs to be a clear line of appreciation of music before you can even be considered as a goddamn GOAT. This man was making his own sound equipment as a youngin', making tapes as a youngin'. Not just my man had some equipment and I just went in there and threw something together and threw it on YouTube and then now I'm a rapper. Now I'm in hip hop. No, 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 no. Once upon a time, you had to earn this shit. Once upon a time, you had to gain some goddamn stripes. Your local streets didn't know you. You wasn't going nowhere. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to that. The essence of what made greats truly great. They had to work for it. Sweat equity in this thing. The floor is yours. Go ahead. Take it away.
Pause mixing off the radio. I did everything that a b-boy should do. Like, my peers call me a b-boy.
I never
Yeah.
considered
I
him a
wasn't.
b-boy, but I
Come on, man.
could see it. I
Go
could
ahead.
see it.
Oh yeah. Come
Real
on.
equipment.
Yeah.
Can
It
your
just
goat use
evolved.
one of those? Your
You
goat
know
got
what
one of
I'm saying?
those?
It's
Come
like
on.
if you
Let me
came
beat
up in that period,
my
I mean,
chest.
I was in LA,
Pause. In case
so
y'all
not
look.
too
That's
far. But
see that wood grain paneling? That's throwback. That's old school. Proceed, goat.
if you came up in that period, those are things that most of us that are producers at this age, we learned early on that. Like it was pause button mixing, before was any, cutting waves and, doing all that stuff, man. We learned the old fashioned way. And one thing I wanted to ask you though, man, is like making beats is cool. I get it. You were making beats and all that, but man, you really got you developed an acumen as an engineer, like a real bona fide engineer. So that's not guessing, that's not luck. I know it's trial and error, but where did you learn your actual skill for being such an incredible mixer and engineer?
Thank you, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of names. There's uh, uh, there's Courtney Branch,
Oh
Dr.
yeah,
B,
Dr. B.
Dr. B
Come on.
Serious, and
Yep.
Tracy Kendrick. Being in the record pool, they gave me a heads up with the records of what was going on. And they used to mix records, and it's a process to go from real tape to master tape to mastering to pressing and then getting a test pressing back. And so that process always intrigued me. How to get the biggest, coolest sounding vinyls.
Did
Because
you hear
every now and
that?
then we get some vinyls that sounded like you'll
You
buy a
think if
vinyl,
you
it's
got a
quiet. Like that
one-on-one
don't make sense.
with your goat,
You know what I mean?
he
So
knew
how do you get the
what
most
any
banging,
of this
most
was?
impactful?
Let me go back.
And it's a process to go from real tape to master tape to mastering to pressing and then getting a test pressing back. And so that process always intrigued me. How to get the biggest, coolest sounding vinyls. Because every now and then we get some vinyls that sounded like you'll buy a vinyl, it's quiet. Like that don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The evidence is piling up in my goat's favor. The evidence is piling up in my goat's favor.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get the most bangingest, most impactful vinyls? Um, so I learned from him. I learned from Mike Frankie. He's one of our local guys. There were guys. What's his name? George Murphy, 8 Mile Road. He had a recording studio, um, in like Hollywood, L.A., Hollywood, and he had engineers up there I would learn from. They had a big console. I think it was the Trident. It might have been a Trident board.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, with him, I used to work with Richard Dimples Fields and L.J.
Ah,
Reynolds from Dramatics
yeah.
at 18.
I always thought Snoop Dogg used the dramatics like a cheat code. Like Snoop Dogg could lay out trash and the beats. The production be so fucking cold. Like Snoop Dogg done put out some stuff where I'm sitting there for a minute, just like I'm just jamming. And I'm like, I ain't listened to the words yet. I ain't listened to the words yet. This could be mud duck, but this is cold. Like, and I'm a sucker for how music sound in the car, boy. I'm a sucker for how the music sound in the car. And every time they deliver, boy, I'm talking about learning from some heavy hitters, like some names, like
Player Ham, Penthouse Players Clique, the group that I joined, he was into 4-track recorders and drum machines too. So we shared what we learned, with each other. And I would produce him. We got microphones, and I would make beats on the SP 1200 and record his vocals on track 3, track 2, 3, and then bounce all of that to 4, and then clear up tracks 2 and 3. We ping pong recording, as they call it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just trying to overdub. It was all the art of overdubbing.
Yeah.
Multiple tracks, blending sounds, seeing what sounded good and what didn't. Preamplifiers, everything from Neve to back then API, how all of these preamps impart a color to your sound. You know what I mean? And we
Yeah.
wanted that color. We wanted it to sound bigger than it actually did, just coming straight out of the drum machine.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
but
amazing, man.
yeah, I
Yeah.
learned, and of course trial and error. Looking at the going from studio to studio, like in my peak, and seeing new preamps, boutique preamps, Demeter,
Yeah.
Lang, these crazy names, Poltec, and just plugging into them and turning knobs and see what come out.
Yeah.
But it's all about
him saying stuff like that is why I'm sitting here thinking, and I've been thinking about it for like a couple of weeks now. Like, what's stopping me from just going to get like a MPC sample or some kind of something and just see what happened with it? It's not like I'm trying to cook up the next great, whatever. It's gaining another level of understanding and appreciation for how the music is actually fucking made. Everything I make can turn into a whole fucking fart. But guess what? I took the time to learn what, just like a monochrome of what he's talking about. We're talking about just a drop. Just a proper drop.
Painting, putting paint where it ain't, basically.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I
you
wanna make
use a
this
lot
too
of live
long.
instruments too. So I mean,
So,
early on, you know what I'm saying, you
we'll
play
scoot
all these
up a
instruments.
little
And
bit.
one thing I will say too, man, that some people may or may not know is your
Make
use
sure
of
everyone-
live percussion, which really can bring even a fully programmed track. It just adds some life to it. You know what I'm saying?
It takes it out of the rigidity.
Yeah, man. And that's something that, has now transcended through these latest generations. And, I do quite a bit myself because you can have something fully programmed. And as soon as you just do even a shake or a kabasa or something, it just makes some of the other instruments sound more human. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
interesting, man. Yeah.
Picture that.
you
They
utilize
talking
that
about
early.
making things
Now,
sound more human. But
you know
right
what?
now we talking about
Actually
making
happen on the
stuff robotic. Kind of a flip-flop, right? They talked about trying to keep the warmth and vibrance within the music as you create it, versus now we're talking about almost cut and paste. Prompt the machine, out comes a fart. Prompt the machine, out comes a fart. And they put it out for us to consume. I'm not when there's cats like this outside. I'd rather spin the block back to the old stuff. Then you're gonna keep on leaning into this bull, man. I'm not doing it. One more thing for my goat, real quick. One more thing for my goat.
Actually happened on the physics. It was happening on the physics side with recording analog versus digital. And I
Check
know
this out.
a lot of people may not understand, but they know they feel something when you say go back and listen to a Thriller on the album versus on the iTunes, right? It's different. Right. it's a different experience, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you an example. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Check this out. And I'll tell you another thing too. Why digital came is because it's more
Pay
practical.
attention. Pay
Everybody
attention.
can handle it. See, these
There you go.
2-inch are impractical.
Right.
You got to put them up. They got to be under the air conditioner for the rest of their lives. But they capture energy better than anything else. Pro Tools, you record signals. Magnetic tape picks up the energy in the room too from the people. Because it's tangible.
Wow.
It picks up, it records vibrations too from people. It's just much the same way that if you bump a CD player, it won't skip, right?
Right.
But if you bump a turntable, it vibrates and moves. It acts, it
Bump a
reacts.
turntable, you might get into a fight. That record, we are saying house party. You messing up my mixing. You messing up my mixing. I helped you out. All right. But picture any of these current artists, even your GOAT, having to go through the painstaking process of maintaining reels. Could you picture that? I can't. You picture your GOAT caring enough about the music he or she puts out to maintain a whole bunch of these reels? And this is why I say music has gotten lazy. Hip hop has gotten lazy. We keep looking for shortcuts. The latest shortcut is AI. That's all AI is. It's a fucking shortcut. It's a shortcut to make stuff quicker, faster, more efficient, less effort, little to no effort in some cases, a couple of prompts. Here's the turd.
Sometimes negatively, sometimes positively. It's tangible, and tape is tangible too. It's like vibrations affect us, and if you got good energy, like my first few albums, recording in there, we should just throw parties around the tape machine while it was running, and record, and then when you go back in there and listen back, you feel the party.
Yeah.
Like songs like Tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, this is the missing link.
Boy.
Yeah. Wow. 2-inch tape, y'all. If you don't know what that is, please go look it up. That's a reel that would house 2-inch tape.
Inch
you know what I'm saying?
tape.
Each one of those
Reel.
reels had its own cost associated with it. If they get
Give
too
them some
old,
game,
you
Goat.
got to take it to a place and they got to bake it.
Give them some game,
that
Goat.
the particles cannot disintegrate, and you can save the tape. All these things that we had to deal with that are different than a thumb drive or a hard drive is today. That looks like an actual. There you go.
This
new
is
tape.
This is what separates me from everybody else.
Yo,
Sealed up,
crazy.
ready to go.
Ooh, yeah,
Come on, man.
It's the most expensive medium there is.
Don't think that don't matter. It's this right here is not cost effective. AI is cost effective. All these shortcuts your goat probably taking to make his music or her music is probably cost effective. How did we get from this to now? Let Glass Malone tell it, AI is acceptable. We've been using it. We've always used AI. Everybody uses it, right? So we're going to use that same argument. Remember, if your friend jump off a bridge, you going to jump off too? Apparently, yes. Apparently, yes, we are. Right into the river. Head first. No pause.
But it does all the work for you. And when people hear it, they not only hear what you did, they feel it. So
That's a level of musical integrity that a lot of people don't want to take the journey. They want to go the easy way, man. But sonically,
I've worked with the youngsters, the young engineers, talented. I love seeing growth, and I love giving people a shot. And they don't understand the concept. And I would implore any of them. I would challenge any of them to just get a 4-track, like do everything in Pro Tools that you want to do, and then print it to tape and see how saturated you can get it before, and quiet you could get it before you just give up and stay in your plugins. Like my plugin does that. Your plugin does a 2-dimensional copy of it. It's not, there's no front and back. There's no depth to it, like almost a 3D element is what that is. Mixing in the box, I have no problem with it. I love Manny American. I love, Chris Lord, Algie, all these guys. But that's just not my thing. Getting different tones and transients out of a console live, it moves people. It moves me.
Shout out to Trevor Lawrence. Shout out to DJ Quick. My GOAT. I definitely got some questions for y'all real quick before we get up out of here. Again, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All the good stuff. It is for the free ski. Think about this. Everything AI right now is supposed to be able to do for you. One-stop shop, right? DJ Quick took the time to learn all of this shit. Can your GOAT function as an engineer? Can your GOAT function as a producer? Can he be the MC also? Can he do everything pretty much on his own and still give you quality? No, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Maybe you should start asking more of your GOAT. Maybe you should have a higher bar set for your GOAT. You know, GOAT means greatest of all time. Your GOAT can't do any of this. How in the hell can he or she be the greatest of all time? I don't think that's possible. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a fan. But at least I know my GOAT is better than yours. And with that being said, I'm Oops Great. This is Kush Equilibrium. I appreciate y'all pulling up for another smoke break while we talk about this hip hop thing. Like, comment, subscribe, all of the things that are for the free ski. With that being said, to the next time, man. Hopefully y'all do better. I'm out of here.
I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.